Like the discovery of electricity, we dream first. Chase one dream with the Dream Millions lifestyle, scaffolding our way to the top. And oh yeah, it's the podcast.
Doing well, man. I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Hey, thank you so much, man, for coming to the first podcast video live. Um, Today, y'all, just want to introduce myself. I'm Jeremy Donald, and this is my guy Will. He's the VP of Heart of Oaks. Um,
Yes, sir. Yes,
so,
sir.
so yeah, man. Thank you for coming on today. Just want to give my viewers and yourself just a platform, a platform to actually speak on what you got going on, and let's just have a general conversation, just keep it organic. And the whole principle behind it is behind Dream Millions is chase one dream. So I'm reaching out to those that's actually chasing theirs and trying to make it an actual reality in general. So yeah, bro, so again,
Hey, man. I definitely appreciate it, man. Of course, you already know. Just putting myself out there, man. I'm sure. Just chasing dreams, man. With 2020, man, it seems like everybody been asleep. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So I think people need to hear this. A little motivation, man. So one thing I would say, love what you're doing. Dream millions. Chase one dream, you chase them all. I've been following you, been seeing what you've been doing, man, and it's been great to the community. Not only that, but just the people around you as well. So I say big ups to you.
Hey, straight up, thanks, man. And again, hey, look, y'all, this has been my guy from the get go, y'all. Uh, we started at Quintiles together, man, and just, hey, we just clicked like that, like it was just boom, like. And y'all, don't get it twisted, on the basketball court. Another story. That's another podcast. But anyway, uh, but look, so yeah, man. So yeah, I wanted to get you on here today to, so we can kind of chop it up about, financial literacy and finances in general, man. And, a lot of people out there, they just got that $1,200 stimulus check, like, a month or two
uh-huh.
ago. So
I know
for
they was waiting
you,
for more. I was, we
right,
was waiting for more, but
right, waiting
it
for
ain't
more.
come through.
So for you, man, being in the finance, okay, hypothetically, I give you you get this $1,200 check, right? And I'm not asking you what you did with yours, but hypothetically, if you're using this like specifically for creating a business, how do you actually use that 1,200?
So, man, to be honest with you, just to let people know as far as my background with working with finances, I do have a background in that. I've been a financial analyst with Transamerica and stuff like that. VP of Heart of Oaks now, where I work the financials. And so, really, when it comes down to that money, it's all about making sure you cover your P's and Q's. And the reason why I say covering your P's and Q's is you got so many people out here that want to use their money to, $1,200 is not a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not.
No matter how you cut and slice it. First thing, of course, you want to pay bills, or if it's credit cards or anything like that, you can use that money for.
Mhm.
I always suggest doing that first. That's when I say P's and Q's, the basic stuff. So, as far as just when you do have some extra income, I always tell people know where it's going, right? So that way you know your money is working for you. So $1,200, if you already spent it, because most people do. I know I did when I got my little check. That was it. I knew where it was going before it even hit my bank account. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
But knowing where it's going to go and how valuable it's going to be when it gets there. So whether it's getting a new car so you can get to work, whether it's putting some money up for retirement, which is another big thing that as far as investments that we can talk to maybe another podcast, depending on what you want to talk, when you want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But just pretty much whatever you need now that's going to get you to be in a better position tomorrow.
Right.
So,
I agree.
and so, I mean, what about you, man? How do you feel,
How do I feel about it? Again, like you said, 1,200 is not a lot. Um, I'm more on the side of like I kind of try to keep my stuff not for a rainy day, but I I rather like I said, I have a different approach to finance, and I mean, and please stop me if I'm wrong, like, but I mean, this is just my opinion. So if with the 1,200, if I put it away, right, and I stack, and I just go ahead and use my regular check that I get per month on my P's and Q's, right, on paying my credit card payments and stuff off. My whole thought process is that if I mess around and this is hypothetical, right? If you mess around and save up 10 racks, and let's say your credit card joint is 1,000, then now you actually have the leverage to go ahead and just pay that off. Like, boom, okay. Now it's just about me paying myself back, right? So I always try to pay myself first, right? But like sometimes, and this is like in Rich Dad, Poor Dad and stuff. So I try to pay myself first. Sometime even before I like might pay my Verizon bill or my cell phone bill or something. Like I'd rather pay myself $100 before I pay them $100. You know what I mean? So, and then I figured out how to make that $100 to go and pay them. They gonna get paid last before I get paid. You know what I mean? So even if my phone is cut off, like I still know how to make that 100. So I'm gonna go and make the 100, and then you get paid. You know what I mean? Or you know, so yeah, that's just my thing about it. So I kind of like, I use my stuff to kind of just like create that little nest egg, and then use one of the nest eggs to pay off the other stuff when necessary. Like when it's like your back is against the wall and this month I can't do it, boom, I can use this for that. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
because if
So
not, if
pretty
you,
much it's just building resources.
right. And if you spend it all, then it's like, okay, you got nothing now. So now if you're back against the wall, we talked about this before. Like if you got like a maintenance issue on your car and you need some new tires, that one of your tires is running out, and you ain't got no nothing on the side, what you gonna do? So you gonna use your regular money, like that you get paid per month or whatever, like to put food on your table and stuff, to like use for that? Yeah, you can. But then now you taking a step back or whatever, you done created debt for yourself, because now you got to figure out how to get it back. So
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people have to face, and I've been there myself, literally having my car break down, and it always happened when I put a full tank of gas in it. Like when I fill it up to the brim, and even when it stopped clicking, and I start just a few more pumps just to make sure that everything is cool. And you slide out a little bit more, and you try to top it off. And soon as I did that, car broke down. I was like, oh man. So that's why I never go to a full tank. It's only 3/4. It may be just enough to get me there so I can get to the next gas station.
exactly.
But yeah, but like I said, it really is just, a lot of people are facing those type of situations, and it gets tough when your back is against the wall. Because I know for me, my back was always against the wall.
Right.
Some people can handle with their back being on the wall and find a way to get out of that. I feel like everybody has that capability, and I'm sure everybody can share of when that happened before or something that they accomplished. But that's what we're here for, to try to give that type of understanding of the finance. And I work with a bunch of clients, a couple in LLCs here in Raleigh, downtown Raleigh, some in Durham, and people need to know this information that you take for granted because you don't know. So
what's one piece of advice?
Like
what's one thing that somebody getting started in the business that it's a must that they have? Like, what is it?
Honestly, for a must-have, man, is really a motivation or a drive to learn. I think that's the biggest thing, because nobody has the answers. You know what I mean? I ain't got the answers, Sway. I'm out here. I have my experience thus far and my knowledge, my background as far as school, but as I move forward with business decisions I make, it's always a learning process.
Right.
And I think some people, they think once they get there, that's it. Like, you still have to evolve.
Right.
And it's always, especially for entrepreneurs, each day, they have to be the ones to motivate themselves. They have to be the one to give themselves guidance for the most part. There's a lot of things that you have to do by yourself, and having an aptitude and that drive and that hunger to learn more gives you an advantage over other people, because you will be able to find the answers quicker.
I agree, man. And again, y'all, that's what it starts with. Because if you don't have that, then you okay. If you get it, like, because for me, for me that's main. That's a good representation of me at times, right? Because like in the beginning, like I had the motivation, like boom, boom, boom. But then as soon as you lose it, it's like it's nothing anymore. You know what I mean? And then it comes back, then it goes. So then I just got to a point where I was like, yo, like I found that purpose within it. You know what I mean? And that purpose allowed for the motivation to be more organic and and for it to just grow. You know what I mean? Like I always like it's like a seed that you plant in the ground, right? Like you plant these seeds, right? And mind you, all of those seeds aren't going to grow into a flower, right? Like some of them are going to die off, right? Because they lost. But think about it, you lose motivation. Some of the stuff you do is going to die off, and then the ones that you actually planted and the ones that you actually like that rooted up, like and gave more attention to and watered them and cared for them, they grow, boom, 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 and they become a tree. And you wonder how they get like that. It was all from that, you know, it was all from the caring and the motivation, knowing that it's going to become a tree. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I know I'm getting philosophical, but you know, it's just it's true. So,
man,
like,
when are you not getting philosophical?
I know, but it all connects back to like not even finance, but just life in general. Like, you know, because you know,
yeah, of course.
right? Because let's keep it real. What's the definition for to you, since that's your lane? You know what I mean? Like, what is the definition of finance in general? Like not just, I'm not talking about like the dictionary meaning. Like I'm talking about.
So to me, the word finance literally means it's a discipline, obviously, but it's really a management of resources.
Right.
That's as simple as I can break it down. It's the management of resources. Whatever you can use as leverage as a resource is something that you have to be able to manage. In finance, whether it's a big business, small business, whether you're doing taxes or whether you're creating a monthly budget for yourself, that all encompass is all under finance, because you have to manage what you have. Money in your bank account is a resource. You have to, if you have land and you have to sell land to maybe a property company or developer, it's still a resource that you have to manage. And so people, I feel like when I first became an accountant, a lot of people in my family, the first thing they think like, oh, accounting is like a scary word. Like, you know, you just pop out the closet, whoa, you know, and they like, oh, what is that? Yeah. And I'm just like, it's not as bad as what you think it is. You're thinking like I'm on, you know, a piece of paper and writing down some type of geometric equation for people to solve.
Right.
And you don't need that. People think you have to be great at math to be a good finance person or a great accountant. And the biggest thing that we do is really just add and subtract. May multiply and divide here and there, but that is it. It's not really anything where we're out here trying to find a slope or the circumference for something, you know, just trigonometry. We're not doing that type of math.
Right. So okay. So do you think that it's overrated in the education system at times? Would you say? Is it more about Is it more about them being, is it more about in the education side? Is it more about them knowing more about what they're going to do with that specific math than actually doing the math itself? Would you say? Like being more
I would
capable?
say for school, because math has so many things that it what's the best way I can put this?
Yeah.
Math has so many things or characteristics of it that it develops you different
Right.
than other tasks or other things. So math by nature is a logic
Yeah.
type of thought, or some type of type of sense of what it is.
Right.
Definition of what it is. It's really just logic, right? 1 + 1 equals 2.
Right.
Right. It's a logical thinking. And so when you get into the math, you really want to learn the logic of it. So in kindergarten, and not, you don't do any math there, but like grade school, maybe you start with your pluses and minuses.
Right.
And then maybe middle school, you learn the multiplication tables that used to be on the black and white notebooks. Remember those?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, these kids don't know nothing about that. But and then you start getting into the geometry, how to solve for variables, things of that nature. And it's really just a logical standpoint. As an accountant, somebody in finance, we use logic in what we do, but everybody uses logic in their day-to-day lives. Right? Everybody, they do it. And so the school system is not meant to make you a super well-off, well-rounded individual.
Right.
It's there just to give you the basics. Right. Now, do I think finance should be something included in classes? Yeah. But as a kid, you're not going to be that eager to learn finance and accounting at that level compared to your parents. Right. So when you're in high school, you're not looking like, oh man, I need to learn how to do taxes.
No.
You ain't paying taxes. You have no, and if it was a class, you'd hate going.
Right. Exactly.
But once you start paying taxes, now you want to be in that class to make sure, like, oh, listen, I'm using this.
Right. So in that sense, so what do you see, like, what does business and finance look like 10 years from now to you, in your opinion?
I think it's going to be a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot more entrepreneurs.
Right.
And I think that it's going to be shaped by the internet.
That's true.
There's going to be more businesses online than you can actually walk in and physically be there. And 2020 helped with that as well.
Because man, you've seen so many like young guys that are 15 and 16-year-olds, and they're millionaires, like just from selling sneakers or just picking a niche or whatever. And you just like, dang, like that's crazy. Like, but that's how I feel the same way. That's how it's going to be 10 years from now. It's going to be, the internet is going to be like allowing for more entrepreneurs and more things to go down. And just as well as I do, they got the applications that can do the accounting stuff for you. So I don't know, man. Like you said, the numbers, I feel like math is just going to be for the logic part of things, but like they're really not going to have to do that much. Like they can hire somebody, hire a system to do it for them,
Yeah, but I mean, either way, you still have to understand what the system is. So even for accountants, people say, oh, well, you have TurboTax, you have this, you have these accounting softwares, these finance softwares.
Yeah.
What we need accountants for?
Right.
Well, when the system go haywire, or you have to make sure the system is working correctly.
Right.
Right. So if every time you pulled your calculator up and you typed in 2 + 2 and 7 keeps coming up,
got a problem.
You got a problem, but you don't know how to handle it.
Right. They wouldn't know how to handle it. Yeah, that's true. So you always need that because human
person. Not even just human error, but systems have errors too.
Yeah, the opposite.
Yeah, systems have errors. So you need somebody who understands what it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like, and for somebody to come in and say, hey, actually 2 + 2 is 4, not 7. Your system has a bug in it, and it's causing you to switch it up. So just like you can go to CVS and they have pretty much a clinic there where you can get everything done. It's like, so what do you need with nurses and stuff like that? But it's like, those systems can go faulty. Them systems could give you a false reading.
That's true.
Right. And that's why even when you're in school, when you're first learning a discipline, whether it's finance, whether it's nursing, doctor, whatever the case may be, there's a lot of technology out there that helps you to get to do things. But when you're in the basics of that discipline, you can't use that. You have to learn the very basics of it.
Right.
And then you build your way up into, oh, I can just go on QuickBooks and just go ahead. And this is actually something I was working on. You go into QuickBooks and say, oh, all my accounts and stuff like that is up there and everything is good. But if your book don't balance, QuickBooks is going to try to balance it for you. But if it can't, because it doesn't know, it needs a journal entry. And then you have to know how debits and credits work, and where whatever type of credit, whether it's a contra asset account or not, or equity account, you have to know how to effectively and correctly put it where it needs to be, so to make sure that the transactions are correct. And if you don't have an understanding of that, and the system is not going to put the journal entry for you because it doesn't understand the way that a person does.
Right.
So, like I said, in 10 years from now, everything is going to go online, but you can do all that stuff. You can be an accountant online.
Right.
Hell, they even have, I was watching a commercial where it was some type of device, some app in a device where it connects you directly to a doctor, and then it has whatever type of reading stuff, like a Fitbit almost, heart rate, pressure, all that other stuff.
Right.
You put it on, and then it links them to the doctor, and the doctor would, talk to them and maybe try to see what symptoms are.
That's crazy.
And that's online.
That's ridiculous. And then all while the thing is doing that, they got blotches on their face and stuff like that, but the doctor can't. You know what I mean? It just don't make sense. Because I mean, it's science, right? I mean, everything's meant to be elevated, but I just don't agree with that, man. And I know with COVID and stuff, it's kind of hard to be face to face, but man, I don't want no doctor telling me about how I'm feeling over the thing or whatever, like over a video conference. Like, I need, doctor, if I'm hurting, I need to see you personally and say, look, this is where I'm hurting. And when I move this way like this is why this is happening. Like I don't know, man.
It's going to be the most efficient way to do it, because half the time you go to the doctor, at least the first visit, they just literally, they ask you a few questions, and then they tell you, oh, okay, yeah, that's what this is.
Right.
And then they send you a prescription and you walk your way out. And so if you're able to do that online, you can move a little bit faster, probably see people quicker, rather than waiting for them to get there.
But that's a waste. That's cool and all, like, but I just feel like it's a waste of the money. It's like if I'm paying this doctor this like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, like, for you to be able to tell me that, like, and I know for you to be able to tell me that, like, why can't I just I don't know, man. I guess it's just my, like, coming out of that generation of like computers and coming to computers and no computers. We had like that social interaction. So we just like this is kind of brand new to us, and this change is just it's crazy. Like, some stuff I just feel like I can't trust. Like, like
sound like an old man now. I know, old man.
But I'm moving out. I'm moving out of that. I'm moving out of that perspective though. Like I'm really getting a little bit more open-minded to it. But in the back of my mind, I just be like, dang, man, like, that's too much, yo. Like, next thing you know, we're not gonna have to read books no more. They're gonna be able to just be like, look at this for 4 minutes and you read the whole book.
Well, I mean, they have the Kindles, which is the best thing. I feel like I read more of the Kindle than the actual book, just because I always have my phone. But I mean, it's really just about preference at that point, I think. You know what I mean? It's really about what your preference is. Me personally, I love that the world is going pretty much virtually online.
Right.
It's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Of course, has both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
But to
I
me,
mean,
I feel
I
like
like.
with having, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was just saying that
So
like Bitcoin and stuff like that, like that's going to be like the new
well,
way of
it
currency.
doesn't even have to be Bitcoin because we barely use cash anyways. We
Yeah.
barely use cash.
Yeah.
So whatever, it's just literally we just transferring money to somebody else. A cat, you have Venmo, you have. There's no reason to have Bitcoin. I'm not sending money overseas often.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, so to me that really doesn't affect me too much. But uh, like I was saying, when everything transitions more into the online type of platform,
Mhm.
it gives one competition
Right.
for business, because how you gonna compete with Target? Target has so much land, so much where people can go. The only place that you can maybe compete with them on is online.
Right.
If everybody's ordering things online, it's not, oh, Target just has more space and you have a little small little hut where you're
Yeah.
selling the same type of products. You can go online and have the same prices as them. Now, if you don't offer the same products, that's different. But if you had the same products, the same product amount, you'd be just as competitive. Obviously, you have to go through ads and stuff like that, but people have more access to it. And I think it lowers costs for businesses and companies that are archaic.
Right.
So,
Like that. Yeah.
even rental space.
Yeah.
Right.
Overhead.
For me, being able to work from home, at first I hated working from home. Now I enjoy working from home.
Right.
But having to work from home, you realize that we never really needed the office. We never really need, and I'm not saying like not having a office, but we literally had offices that we stayed in and what we did, and we worked with our clients and stuff like that. And especially the rest of my VPs, we work in our separate offices and whatnot. But when you realize that you don't have to pay that every month, pay that at least every month, and maybe have a shared area with somebody else, where conference rooms where you can hold meetings, like a nice building, but you share with other companies,
mm-hmm.
right? You all save money, and all you have to do is just make sure that you're you schedule accordingly.
Right.
So it makes it easier to save money on that type of way. And plus, more people spend money when they could just
And that well, one thing I do want to say, I do want us to continue this conversation on another note, within another podcast at a different date, or within another episode, a different date. So, but that is so true though, because again, if you think about Uber and these autonomous companies like that, like they don't have any overhead. They don't even matter of fact, they don't even have a customer service number. You email them. You email them if you have an issue. And the thing about it is, it's probably a robot. It's probably a bot that's actually answering these frequent questions and stuff, because they already know the things that you have to do in order to do this and that. And it's just, that's how they're able to make their money. Like, so when they make $10, $15 on the thing, on a sale or whatever the case is, they're actually making $10 to $15, because all the autonomous system, it runs itself. Like, so all they really do is just put money back into the system, and it just builds, while they sleep, So,
and it makes it so much easier, man. And just to get back on point with what we were talking about, when it comes down to finance and people looking to make money, sustain, get ahead, whatever the case may be, to link what we're talking about for businesses in the next 10 years, next 5 years, 3 years, and link the conversation together. When it comes down to finances and people trying to move to the next step or maybe accomplish something financially, you have to make sure you understand the environment.
Right.
And if there's an environment where you can thrive, you take advantage of it. Obviously, 2020 was a bad year for everyone, except for Amazon, but for everybody for the most part. Now coming out of 2020, people can figure out how to better themselves because it's an opportunity where some businesses may be closed, maybe they limit what their services are or their products are, and a niche can spawn out of that. And it could be anybody, no matter the age, whoever. So I tell people, listen, when it comes down to finance, when it comes down to that stuff, it's all about actions. You have to act on what you want to get out of your money, how you want it to work. If you want to try to get on or open up a new business, maybe start a new endeavor, always look at the environment as to what's going on, how you can benefit from it. And last but not least, how can you put yourself in a position to be successful, right? Whether it's saving up money, whether it's taking a class, whatever it is, what can you do to prepare to take advantage of that moment?
Right. Hey, thank you so much, man, for taking the time out today, man, to be on the first podcast. It was like, man, I had to reach out to you, man, to get on here so we could chop it up, man. It was dang sure a pleasure, man.
Man, a pleasure was mine. I thank you for just having me here. Wanted to always love just shooting the breeze with you, talking that talk. Real quick before we finish up, like I said, VP of Heart of Oaks is one of the hats on our lines that just dropped. We have some more stuff coming out. I know you just had some stuff that dropped out recently as well. So shout out to you. Yep. Yes, sir. So if you can, it's Heart of Oaks, Raleigh.
And I'll post we had the link to it right below in the description section.
Got you.
So
got you. And I got some exclusive stuff coming out. I'm telling you, exclusive. Is directly my garment that I'm designing by hand myself. So be on the lookout for that. It's coming soon.
Yeah, for sure. Y'all look out for that, and also go and shop now at the Dream Million store. Teespring.com/stores/My Dream Millions. We got some exclusive gear as well. And go shop Heart of Oaks. Yo, Black businesses, yo, group economics.
Yes, heartofoaks.biz, heartofoaks.biz.
Yes, heartofoaks.biz, yo. Y'all go check that out. And again, hey, thank y'all so much for tuning in today, man. Yo, and last thing, press that button right there, which is gonna be the subscribe button. Appreciate that.